2012 was a year that I will never forget. Within the span of 30 days, my wife and I experienced three of life's greatest tragedies. We lost our first child to miscarriage. 10 days later, my mother-in-law passed away. And 10 days after that, I lost my job. And to say that I felt alone and broken would be a serious understatement. I was trying to figure out what was happening to my life because at that point, nothing really made sense. I remember asking myself, is my life ever gonna be the same? I was hopeless. I walked through some of the darkest days of my life during that period of time, but it was my relationship with Jesus that really saw me through, carried me through. And it was in that season of my life that I realized that I had a story to tell. After experiencing another miscarriage in early 2013, my wife and I began to pray about our future. We started to think about looking into adoption and how that might have been our only option for having a child. But I remember very clearly my wife looking at me one day and saying, I really want to try one more time. After doing some research and asking around, we got the name of an infertility specialist and we set up a time to meet with him. The moment that changed everything for me was the day we walked into his office for the first time. Throughout this whole process, we'd both really struggled with feelings of thinking that maybe we were the only people in the world going through this. But at that moment, I remember stepping off the elevator, walking up to the front counter to sign in, and I looked out and saw a waiting room full of people. We weren't alone. There were so many other couples going through something similar to what we were experiencing, and it just brought this sense of peace over us. The one phrase that I played over and over in my head, and I really believe that it was kind of God-breathed for me at that moment, was hope is enough. See, it was my hope in Christ that picked me up when I was at the lowest point, and I knew God wasn't finished with us yet. I watched over the next year as my wife, Holly, went through test after test. She had her blood drawn at every appointment, sometimes twice a week. She had to take shots every night and was on countless medications, but she was always so strong and hopeful through it all. After 2 years on this journey to have a child, we finally welcomed our little boy, Cannon Gray Drake, into the world on June 2nd, 2014. It's a moment that I will never, ever forget. My 30-day journey of hopelessness became really a catalyst of what has become my greatest passion. We live in a world today that's filled with devastation, but there's hope. God has a plan for every single one of us, and it's important to remember that we're not walking this journey alone. We experience trials in our lives, and I, for one, believe that each trial has a purpose. See, my story can help someone. Your story can help someone. So don't give up, because God's not finished with you yet. Don't let your circumstances now determine what your future really can be. It can be bright, it can be joyful, and it can be filled with hope.